but because of the man who invented them. They are obvious to your eye when you see that sleeve that sits on the back of the brief. It is there because of how it was made. It was poured. And as a result of it being poured, sometimes the microscopy and the porosity of it wasn't as strong, and it tended to split, crack, or blow up. And so as a result of that, they put that band on it to reinforce it. It is a rifled artillery piece. It is not a smoothbore. So just like you have a rifle that has lands and grooves and twists in it, that's exactly what that piece is. The last piece on the left is a 3-inch ordnance rifle. It shot the same ammunition as the Parrott, but they chose to define it by the width of the bore. So that was 3 inches. Nonetheless, it shot a 10-pound round of ammunition. The particular rounds of ammunition they shot were 4. As a smoothbore would shoot a cannonball, a big dumb piece of iron, the rifle pieces shot a big dumb piece of cylindrical metal that looked like this. It was called a bolt instead of a ball, and you can see the obvious differences in the geometry. It is nothing but dumb metal. You shoot it, it hits something. If it hits something, it's going to break apart or it's going to go away. This was primarily shot at buildings, fortifications, and other artillery because you want to break the carriages, you want to break the limbers, even take some horses and some men with you. The other variety of ammunition that they shot was this kind of weapon, either shell or case. Shell was just that. The outer part of the shell, the metal, was what fragmented and hurt the opposition. You would open the well of it up and you would put in a fuse that was timed to a certain distance. The other piece would have been that red one, would have been cased. So there would have been little metal balls in it, like marbles in it. The idea would be as it flew, the fuse would wind down and then it would ignite black powder, which would then open the case and these balls would shoot down at the precise time, location, and elevation you wanted. It didn't always work that way, but that was the idea behind these things. When it worked, it was very effective. The problem was Civil War ammunition was not uniformly excellent, particularly on the Confederate side, but when it worked, it was devastating. Finally, this little jewel. Notice it looks like a shotgun shell. That's because this is primarily what it was. You would have some number of iron balls in it, 28, 30, something like that, and this tin sheathing around it. You would have the powder bag, which was a cloth bag with the explosive, which was the case with all of these. And that was attached to that, so when it was ignited, it would come out the tube, the shape, the tin would open up, and you'd have a big shotgun. So, in Civil War tactics, the infantry generally attacked in 2 lines, a lot like the way you look. So, if we turned those guns around and faced you with these things in it, it would be a good day for us and a bad day for you. Because Civil War artillery batteries, if you look at these soldiers back here, they're not wearing individual pistols. They're not using rifles. That's because in Civil War tactics, artillery fought the guns. And if you got really close to us, and we were really in danger, we would put 2 of these in there, double canister. So instead of 30 marbles coming at, it would be 60 times 4 guns. That's a lot of metal coming down range. And as an added treat, we wouldn't shoot directly at you. We try and skip it. So that way, if we didn't hit you with the metal balls that we shot ourselves, maybe rocks, sticks, other things would fly up, so that we made sure you didn't get to us. Now, this artillery battery consists of all of these men because each one of these persons has a distinct and separate mission in firing a cannon. If you haven't seen the infantry, you will about to see it. They load their rifle in 9 steps. We do essentially the same kind of thing, but as they do it as individuals, we do it as a complete unit. They can get off 3 rounds in a minute, generally with a well-trained soldier. So can we. Now, the first thing as you look at the guns, the artillery defines its soldiers by the position that they're in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's a gunner. All right, so there would be 8 people, fully manned, at a particular detachment, cannon and limber. These pieces back here where they're standing is known as a limber. That's where the ammunition and equipment is stored for the gun. The number 1 man controls this piece of kit. To my left, your right, is a sponge. That is used to swab out the bore before and after firing to make sure that there are no embers or burning material left from the cloth at the back of the round that we talked about earlier. He also uses the other part. This part, this end, is called the rammer, for the obvious reasons. Once the ammunition is put into the bore, it is rammed home using this end. Directly across from number 1 is number 2. This unusual piece of equipment, anybody know what this is called?
Corkscrew.
Yes, sir. Nope.
Corkscrew.
Nope.
Worm.
Who said the worm?
Look out there.
All right, very good. This is called the worm because of its cylindrical shape. What this is used is to pull out any burning embers of that cloth ammunition bag. Because number 1 will have a very bad day if he rams that round home and there's something burning in there. Number 1 will not like number 2 ever. Now, they didn't do that after every round in the Civil War, which is one of the reasons why we could get 3 rounds off in a minute. But we have to here because our ammunition is surrounded by aluminum. So we have to use that to pull it out. I will serve as the number 3 man. This odd-looking contraption on my left thumb is known as a thumb stall. It is made out of leather and horsehair, and it is used to plug the vent on the top of the cannon. The vent is the hole that allows the priming wire, to puncture the ammunition bag at the end of the round so that when you introduce flame into it, it ignites. This is made out of brass. It is not made out of iron or steel. Why would I do that?
No spark.
Very good. No spark. We don't want this to go off prematurely. So that's why we use brass. The number 4 man. He is the guy that has the sexy job with the least amount of work. He is the one that fires the piece. The way he fires it, he takes this is known as a friction primer. It's a little brass tube that has a metal wire that goes into it that when pulled will, by friction, cause a flame to ignite the powder that will shoot it down into the vent hole, which causes the explosion. But he also, in order to get out of the way, so he doesn't do what you want to do, he wants to ride the cannon when it's shot.
More power to him.
Sir, I told you no.
Oh, come on. More power to you.
So this lanyard is merely a rope attached to a handle which goes through the ring, which goes in the vent. And so you don't want anybody inside the wheel, because when that weapon goes off, it has a pound of black powder in it and a shell in it. You remember physics. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The round's going that way. Which way is the carriage and the cannon going?
Back.
This one. So if you're inside the wheel, you will have a bad day. That's why everybody has to be outside the wheel. the number 5, 6, and 7 men prepare the ammunition and get the ammunition from the limber back to the front of the gun, and they're all under the control of the gunner, who makes sure all of this operates smoothly. And you will see, as you watch this operation, this minuet, this dance, this symphony take place quickly, efficiently, and safely. And each one of the gunners will respond to the battery commander, who will issue the firing orders to each one of the guns for execution of the mission. Do I have any questions? Captain White will now put us through the drill and show you how the pieces are fired. Sir?
Very good, sir. Thank you. Didn't he do a good job? Yes. Yeah, there you go. Nice. See, I have to butter him up or else I have to do all the talking. Okay. Battery, post on the limber. Post on the gun, forward, march. Take implement. Battery, load, shell, 2,000 yards. These guns are very accurate at 1,850 yards. We can put one through a window of a house and we pick the window. They're very accurate. And remember, if we get the fuse right, if they get their math right on the box, and the gunners get their distance right, we can put it through that window and then make it explode. Very, very devastating weapons. And with all of these firing at one time, firing at the same target, you do not want to be on the target.